It was a night that seemed to hold its breath, where time slowed to a crawl and the line between reality and nightmare blurred into a haze of uncertainty. In December 1945, the Sodder family's modest home in rural West Virginia was filled with the warmth of holiday cheer. The flicker of candlelight danced on walls adorned with cherished family portraits, and the soft hum of Christmas carols provided a gentle backdrop to a gathering that promised both joy and solace amid life's hardships. Yet beneath the festive spirit lay an undercurrent of unease, a silent whisper that something was amiss. Maria Sodder, a resilient woman whose life had been marked by both heartbreak and hope, moved through the house with determined grace. Each ornament delicately hung on the towering Christmas tree, each carefully set place at the dinner table, was a testament to her unwavering love for her family. In her eyes, flickering with both the light of celebration and a hint of apprehension, there was an unspoken understanding that this night, though filled with promise, might also harbor a secret destined to shatter their world. As the clock neared midnight, an eerie stillness settled over the home. In that silent moment, the ordinary became extraordinary. Then, without warning, the tranquility was shattered by a deafening roar, a sound like the wrath of an ancient beast. Flames erupted from the attic, leaping and twirling with a furious grace. The fire spread with a speed that defied belief, devouring memories and mementos alike, and plunging the room into a maelstrom of chaos and despair. In the ensuing pandemonium, every second stretched into an eternity. Amid the swirling smoke and searing heat, Maria's desperate cries pierced the cacophony. She raced through corridors, her voice trembling as she called out for each of her children. Every shadow seemed to taunt her, every flicker of flame a cruel reminder of the terror that had seized her life. And then, as the fire began to subside and the smoke thinned to reveal a horrifying truth, the unthinkable became painfully clear. 5 of her children were missing, vanished as if swallowed by the very flames that had devoured their sanctuary. In the days that followed, the community was gripped by a silent terror. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones about the inexplicable disappearance. The charred remains of the house stood as a grim monument to a tragedy that defied understanding. Rumors spread, weaving tales of supernatural forces and calculated malevolence. Some whispered that the missing children had been taken by shadowy figures lurking in the night, while others believed that a more earthly, yet equally sinister, conspiracy was at work. Every whispered theory deepened the mystery, and with it, the pain of a mother who clung to the hope of finding her lost children. Detective Henry Malone took on the case, driven by a personal quest for truth and the need to bring solace to a shattered family. Malone was a man whose gaze was as steely as his resolve, and he soon found that the trail was anything but straightforward. His investigation led him through forgotten backroads, into dimly lit taverns where secrets were traded like contraband, and into the hearts of people whose eyes held sorrow and suspicion. With every step he took, a new piece of the puzzle emerged, a scrap of evidence here, a mysterious note there, each hinting at a truth more disturbing than the last. Some clues pointed to a deliberate act of abduction, while others suggested the interference of forces beyond the ordinary realm of human understanding. Late at night, when the town lay shrouded in darkness and the only sounds were the whispers of the wind, Malone would return to the scene of the tragedy. The ruins of the Sodder home, now silent and foreboding, seemed to pulse with the secrets of that dreadful night. Every creak of the timber, every shadow cast by the moonlight, served as a reminder of the lives that had been upended and the mysteries that still lingered in the ashes. It was as if the house itself was mourning, a silent witness to the loss and the unanswered questions that would haunt the community for decades to come. Maria, though shattered by grief, refused to succumb to despair. Each night, as she sat in the quiet of what remained of her home, she whispered words of love and hope to the memory of her lost children. In her heart, she believed that they were still alive, hidden away by those who had taken them in a moment of unthinkable cruelty. Her prayers were a blend of anguish and defiance, a plea for justice and a quiet, unwavering hope that one day, the truth would emerge from the shadows and the light of day would restore what had been stolen from her family. But the mystery was far from solved. As months turned into years, the case of the missing Sodder children continued to echo through the town like a mournful refrain. Detective Malone's investigation eventually ran cold, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and fragmented memories. Yet, in every corner of the community, the specter of that fateful night lingered, a reminder that some mysteries are destined to remain unresolved. The ruins of the home stood as a perpetual monument to loss, their silent testimony a challenge to anyone brave enough to seek the truth. After that harrowing Christmas Eve, as the last embers faded, the story of the Sodder children transformed into a symbol of hope and the resilience of the human spirit. For those who remembered, it served as a reminder that even amid overwhelming darkness, a light persists, ignited by love, hope, and the relentless pursuit of truth. The mystery endures, a quiet call to the brave to uncover its secrets and restore peace to those lost. In that persistent echo of the past, the promise of tomorrow flickers, urging all to believe that someday, answers will finally be revealed, and healing begins now.